African TV or Nollywood or whatever. I just use this image to define what the perception is out there of what African TV was. As you can see, the proportions are wrong. Top corner there, VCD. This is what we are African content or African TV channels are perceived as. Outside Africa, funny enough, or this was the perception. As a TV channel, we had to jump through a few hoops to get on Sky, and rightly so, because there were standards and we had to meet those standards. So what are we, and when I say we, African content producers and African TV channels and entertainers, what are we defined as, or what are we perceived as, even if it's wrong? Poor production values. You've seen Nollywood movies. I know you've seen them. You've bought a few in traffic. And so distribution on VCDs. I try and, I think only the older people, yeah, I see a gentleman smile. You know VCDs. You definitely know VCDs. And so, yeah, that's it. Poor distribution. You make content, it doesn't have legs. It doesn't have legs outside Nigeria or South Africa. I think Nigeria is one of the biggest markets for what we call the Nollywood movies. In England, we are perceived as unreliable TV channels. I have seen a lot of African channels start on Sky and shut down in 3 months because one, there's no proper business planning. There's no business strategy. It's, we've got some money, we're going to start a channel, then we're going to look for content. That's insane. And so there's a lot of that. And so it reinforces the perception of what African channels are. I mentioned VC distribution. Piracy. It's not, well, it wasn't a crime in Nigeria. I'm Nigerian, so I can say this. It wasn't a crime in Nigeria because you could buy VCDs on the streets and nothing goes back to the producers. Bad business models. And so you don't get a lot of investment coming back. One, to the producers, secondly, to the channels, three, towards some of the entertainers. Some of that is changing now. This was. If you look at Africa, the biggest problem is poor infrastructure. I know in another world they say leadership, but also infrastructure is what builds communities. We don't really have that. We make formats, well, we used to make formats, and these were really what I call unsellable, because no one's planning what to shoot. We just shoot and put something on TV, it works. And so nothing comes back, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. And then I think Africa is also perceived outside there as a consumer continent. And I keep using my country so that I don't use South Africa and get lynched before I leave this place. Nigeria produces oil, and Nigeria imports refined products, oil products. So this kind of like trickles down the line in everything we do. It doesn't matter what we have, we just bring everything in. And we see somebody, I think it was Kevin Jones yesterday, mentioned about there's a multitude of channels on various platforms, and this is heading for what we might call the channel crash or something like that. But I'll continue. I don't know if you can see this because I thought your presentation was blurred. Then I put my glasses on and I realized I was the one getting older. And so all these problems lead to what I call talent drain. You see a lot of, this is a trend I noticed because I'm talking about trends today. We see a lot of our artists from Africa collaborating is what they say, but it's almost like we offer a begging bowl out there, maybe in the States. We want to go with, I'll choose somebody that you may know, Wizkid. Anybody know Wizkid? No. D'banj? Come on, guys. Are you that old? I thought I saw young faces. These are artists that have crossed borders and they're no longer perceived as Africans. You go into a Selfridges, you will hear D'banj play, and this is music. And the reason I mention is, okay, anyone know Snoop Dogg? Ah, look at them. All right, Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg's about as old as my dad. Yeah, now you know. Why will a D'banj, who's what, maybe early 30s or just late 20s, collaborate with Snoop Dogg? It has nothing to do with mentorship. It has to do with him not seeing a value in himself. And I'm saying this generically, so it's not exactly D'banj, but this is what's happening. And then he goes over to validate himself with a Snoop Dogg out there who I'll pay my kids not to listen to. So there is that. So I call that talent drain. You go out there to try and get some clout and then come back and try and sell that clout to the rest of the people. There's a lack of industry respect. You go out there, you say you're an African-focused channel, no one wants to see you. And this is true. When we were trying to get into the States as a TV channel, you can't get on Comcast. You have to jump through hoops to get on Sky. And you may have to struggle to get on DSTV also. But you have to, and our reason for not being on DSTV, let me spare you, it's not because we're not a good channel, but we have other relationships. So there's a lack of industry respect. It's so crazy, the amount we pay. I want to stand there and tell you that I don't spend a lot every month. I spend at least £150,000 just to keep my company going every month. If I sit down, and that's not a lot for a lot of you bigger channels, but this is me here. For me, it is a killer. And if you get the returns commensurate with what you're spending, then it's easy. But we're finding different ways of breaking this mold. Movie releases. People make movies out here. There were content producers here yesterday. I was hoping they'll be here earlier today. We make movies, but the producers don't get paid. And the reason is, I think the best, I will give credit to Mnet Africa. They pay back to the producers. I was at a conference in Ghana, and they were all complaining about Mnet not paying enough, but now I know they're paying enough. Thank you. But it's still not enough, because releasing your content out there doesn't work. And I'll give you an insight into, which I was going to mention later, but I'll say it now. When you put your movie in a theater in England or anywhere else outside Africa, you have to then go and drive the people to go watch it, and then you have to tell them what day to go and watch it. So you don't leave your movie in a theater and you expect people to go every day like they were watching The Life of Pi. It's not going to happen. What it is, it's a specific market, and so the strategy to release movies in the UK is different from the way things are done. The strategy to release African movies in the UK is different from other types of movies. In America, there is no strategy. Nothing works. Somebody gets a DVD in, somebody makes a few copies, and then 7-Elevens and your movies are. So the money doesn't come back. Because we're struggling as African channels in the UK, TV channels, there's what I call compete to death. We just, I'm better than you. If I buy content, I don't want you to have it. And I think it's crazy, because then you find out there are, I think on Sky you will find maybe 5 African entertainment channels, and 70% or 65% of our content across the channels are the same. I think it's insane. And so we decided to change that also. We started collaborating with other channels, because what's the point? We all go out, we all go to the same content festivals or content conferences. We buy the same content from the same people, put them on the same, and Sky just makes shed loads of money off us. So we're actually being a bit silly. I put this background there just to show the population. Nigeria, 177 million. This is the projection for July this year. South Africa, 53 million. Congo, 75 million. Egypt, 85 million. Ethiopia, and on and on. And so I don't see a diminishing audience. And from the way we reproduce in Africa, that's not going to stop. Yeah, thanks to you lot. So, I don't know that. You're supposed to laugh there. You're not supposed to feel insulted. Yeah. And so I think it's time for Africans to tell our stories. It's great what you're doing, Discovery Channel. I actually was making notes for my wife. Now I know what to do. Keep her in the job, because that makes her happy. Forget the money. Yeah. But that is still you, and it's a good thing that you're in South Africa now, but that is still you telling us our stories. Do you know what I mean? What you see trending now is Africans telling their African story, and there is and you're doing a great job globally, which is important. And seriously, I love your channel, so this is not anything against you. But it's time that we also try and encourage local content producers to make content that tell our story. I invited a guest over. He will come after 10, and he's one of his stories that I'm keen to tell. And hopefully if he comes, I'll be able to talk about it. So we've decided to, in England, channels go, or people with, how can you make, check this out, this is what I call the begging bowl model. You're a producer, you make content, then you go to a channel and beg the channel to show your content. And then you actually pay the channel to show your content. And then you, the producer, go and look for the advertiser to advertise on that platform. And then you share the revenue with the platform. I think it's mad. I don't want to be a content producer if that's the way it's going to work. So in England, one of the problems I identified was the screening theaters don't touch our movies because they don't get that many people, and it's because of the way our people in diaspora behave. The premieres work better than the movie releases themselves. So you have to create a movie premiere like an event, and then you invite people, and it's one day, and you can't use the standard theaters. They're a maximum of 500 people. You need one that will take 5,000 people, and you make all the money for your movie in one day, and then you go to DVD. So it's just, there are different things across different, the same thing wouldn't work for the African trends in the different countries, if you know what I mean. You have to know your audience, you have to know your market, where you are, and then take that forward. And I think, like I said earlier, on beneficial collaborations, we need to have that. So I put a short video, because I like talking a lot, so somebody just get ready to shoot me down. I put a short video here. It says a lot about what we do. Okay. I don't know how much of that you're going to remember, but the idea was I tried to put a video collage of a lot of the things we've worked on, and I'll just quickly describe some of them. We made the movie The Mirror Boy. I think it won a few awards in Africa, and someone collected that on our behalf. But that did very well in the UK. It did very well in Ghana. And so we kind of raised production value standards, if I can say so, for movies, for African movies. And we found out that it's trended, people are following. Since then, we've seen movies like Phone Swap. We released this, I think, 2 months ago in the UK. That worked. And then Contract also in the theaters. What we also see happening is a lot of musicians a lot of African musicians having massive concerts in the UK. That's working also. And one of the things we do is we actually film these concerts live, beam them back to Africa. And this is the way we put revenue back in the hands of the producers. A great project we worked on. We make reality formats also as a TV production company, because I'm a TV channel, a production company, and then I think I'm a platform at the moment. So one of the things we did was Omotola. I don't know if you saw that video. She now is one of the 100 most, Time Magazine's 100 most influential people in the world. And this for me is icing on the cake, because it means that a lot of what we are doing and the collaborations we have, a lot of that is having an impact on a global level. And so we flew out with her also to collect the award, and you see my guy there, that's Sandra's boyfriend, Michael Jabba. This is for me, Omotola standing there next to Steven Spielberg amongst the other pictures that she took, means that we can compete on a global level with what we have, if we believe in what we have. And so this is what we do. WizKid concert, Hammersmith Apollo, we streamed this live to the States, and then we also sent a stream live to Nigeria, and then this was also played back on Beat FM, and they had the biggest audience ever on the radio channel. They took the audio stream and played it back. We don't see our channel as an African channel per se. We think we're a world-class TV channel. It's just that we have different content. My content is not the same as the Discovery Channel, as TLC, sorry, but it addresses a certain audience, and we want to focus on that. And I looked at the numbers in Africa. I looked at the numbers outside Africa. I think that there is a market for it. We are engaged in better content distribution because we know what doesn't work. Yeah, once you've made a few mistakes, you learn really quick or you die. And so we know what doesn't work. One of the things we also did was the Virgin Atlantic Diamonds of Africa. It's I think it was quite a novel thing to do, because we took the well-known actresses across a few different programs, and I'm sure you've seen some of the programs on DSTV, and then we created a Virgin Atlantic 90-second advert, which isn't out yet, and then we created a 60-minute behind the scenes. Everyone flew out to England, we shot the ad, and these are people you recognize from, I think, what are those programs again? There are quite a few on, well, there's At Home with Michelle, there is what's it? I'm trying to remember the one. Oh yeah, there's a movie, Adam's Apple. Yeah, and so all that. Anyway, we put all that together and we put this there. So we're looking at film and theater alternatives. One of the things I also noticed, which we're not doing yet in England as African TV channels, when my son and I are sitting down, we support Manchester United, by the way. When we're sitting down to watch football, my son sits down with a laptop. I'm watching a big screen. My son sits down with a laptop, and he's there bashing away at the keys, talking to his friends on Twitter. They're conversing with his friends on Twitter. And so it's important that we know that the generation coming after us are they're going to need a minimum of a dual screen experience when watching TV. And so we're looking at the future for this also. We've seen world-class programs like Nonle Goes to Hollywood. I think that was done here in Africa also. We're shooting the Jim Mike. We shot Jim Mike in Atlanta, Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Mauritius, everywhere in the world. We've been everywhere. The reality show with Omotola, we've done that. Other drama, Jacob's Cross, that was a hit in England. It was a hit. We had our biggest numbers ever, and when we stopped the season to do something else and come back. We almost got lynched. I couldn't go anywhere, and people will come to me, excuse me, Akin, I have a problem. I'm like, what's your problem? When's Jacob's Cross coming back? And this was good. It was good to know that that we had the audience, we had programming that people were watching on our channel, Lucky Wives. And so, like I said earlier on, we believe that the trend now is Africans telling the African story. I'm going to distract you for a minute because a good friend of mine just walked in. I'm not wearing my glasses, but I believe that's Jomo Sono. Yeah. Jomo Sono is, he was one of the well-known footballers in South Africa. He's got quite a story. His story reminds me every time of Invictus. And so I invited him here, and I think I want to tell his story. And these are the things that will change the perception out there. I'm going to move on because I don't want to ramble anymore. Okay, sorry, like they say in sales, but wait, there's more. I've got pictures of different things we've produced out there. I saw something that I wanted to share with you here. Here is this is the June issue of New Woman. If you look closely, it says 30 Rand. This hasn't been released yet, so I have to delete that presentation back there when I'm done. But this model works also. So there is the same magazine. That's Jocelyn Dumas. I think she's on quite a few programs across Africa, and she's shooting some programs right now. She's on the cover for next month. That's 30 Rand. That's the South African edition of the magazine. This says £3. Same magazine. That's the UK version of the magazine. And then that says nothing because that's the international version. You can sell it in dollars, in pesos, in whatever you want. And so it's the same magazine, but it's got different covers. And I think we need to borrow a leaf from that. The packaging of the same thing needs to be different for the audiences in the different locations. So I'm applying that to the content that we're making. I'm applying that to the way we work across a lot of things. So even more content. Lucky Wives, this is making waves. We haven't even started showing. We just sent snippets out and it's gone crazy. So there is content to be made from Africa to the rest of the world. And it is world-class content, even though we call it African content. So I think we just need to let our content stand out there for what it is. I'm just going to go. And yet more content. This is a Phone Swap. Big hit. We released this 2 months ago in the UK. Massive. They want it back in the theaters. Contract. Homla Dandla from Jacob's Cross. Homla Dandla from Jacob's Cross. And we just released something called the African Cinema Experience for the audience in the UK. This is working. But when I keep saying this, I don't want you to see it as ohTV or O-Box doing this. I want you to see it as a collaboration because it's what I really want you to go away with when you leave my presentation today. Like I said earlier, and I thought I'd put that there, in the UK, African releases must be treated as events. Don't treat them as you're going to the movies with your kids and popcorn. No, we're going to an event. There's going to be this, that, and then we watch the movie, and there might be other stuff afterwards. Okay, so these are numbers for the audience out there. I call it diaspora dollars. I want to encourage content producers. Keep making content. We have enough people out there. In England alone, they say there are 2 million Africans. That's the ones that came in through the airport. Yep. You know what I'm saying. And then I think France is crazy. They have 4.5 million. And I got this off, I got this off a reliable website. Excuse me. So I want to say this, that to you producers out there, to you channels also in Africa, or the channels Discovery that have come from the States and come into Africa, there are Africans that do not watch Sky. And so you need to find a way. I was going to ask the question, but I thought I'd ask it from here to put you on the spot. Why did you stop the live streaming? Yeah, for your channel. But I will ask my question at the end. Yeah? But get ready. And so one of the things we say is that there are people, Sky isn't that evenly distributed in England, and so we needed to solve a problem. There is a massive audience of Africans out there in England. We can't compete with the British or the American audience, but we can look at the Africans out there and the lovers of African content and we're focused on that. So what we decided to do, while we were trying to solve our problem of distributing to Africa, to America, we ended up creating a platform we didn't even know about. It was a mistake, and I'll put my hands up, I'll own up, we created a platform. So diaspora dollars, there's a lot of money in the diaspora. What's the problem then? We need focused platforms for the African diaspora. We need lower entry costs for content producers and channels. I say that because if you make, we had questions here yesterday, and some people were complaining about the money's not coming back to the producers. And so one of the things is, if you want to create good content for a lot of money and you're not going to get anything back, then you're not going to create good content. So the idea is we're making it cheaper to distribute content, and we're also making it cheaper for channels to be set up on platforms that are focused, targeted platforms. So here we go. I'm just going to play another quick video, and please, this is not supposed to be an advert for my services, but this saves me from talking for another 2 hours. Yeah, so bear with me. How do you click this? Thank you. Volume.
Channels including Hollywood Movies TV, Trend, AIT, ohTV, Hip TV, and much more. Catch movies on demand, comedy, and concerts. A home for African entertainment with new content added all the time. Download the app for free. Box, plug, play, love.
Okay, correct. So that's what we do. We put a lot of content on our platform. So we designed a platform that runs on apps, and we designed one that runs on our set-top box. A mini set-top box, you can travel with it. All your channels follow you, and we do geo-restriction. So if you're in the States and we're not licensed to show it in the States, you don't see the channel, so we don't break rules. I put up there, oh no, it's African. That was a problem. You would think that an African will design a set-top box for Africans and be accepted by Africans out there. No. It's African, it's not going to work. And so it's been a long journey. It's been about 3 years now. We've tested the market, we've created this, but it's now successful. So we had perception issues at the beginning. But this is what we have as of, this will be correct as of end of last month. We've had over 450,000 app downloads across all the smartphones and tablets, because we designed our apps for the Android, the iOS, and what's the other one? You know the other one. And we're on BlackBerry, BlackBerry. So we're on BlackBerry 10, the new BlackBerries. It works, and it works perfectly. The app is free. We had to do it because we found out that my brothers out there don't like to pay for content, don't like to pay for TV that much. But there's a way we make that work for the content producers. We put adverts on I think it was, if you look, your ads here. So we have people who advertise, and the advertising is across the channels. And you click the link, it goes to the website for the advertiser. So they make their money anyway. So they can tell the clicks, the hits, and all that. We have 7,000 set-top boxes currently in circulation, and this will be in the States. But we have more app responses than anything else. And this year, we expect about 500,000 boxes to follow, because we have a few things that I'm not allowed to talk about at the moment. What do we put on the app? We've got live TV. I will show you some of the channels. Video on demand, that launches at the end of, in the middle of next month. What we're waiting for is the subscription, the payment gateway to go through, because there are a lot of stringent checks out there, and this has to do with people collecting money from other people. Films and live concerts. It was built from scratch. I'm guilty. It's standardized, and yes, we do metadata in an answer to some of the questions asked yesterday. And so you know who's watching, where, and when. So we have growing partnerships. We collaborate. Yeah, we have to. We are too small to try punching above our own weight on our own. And so we collaborate. We work with everyone. So we started with a few churches, a few radio stations, and then we went on to channels. We've got Russia Today. We've got local Nigerian channels at the moment in Hausa, Yoruba, and we're looking to do the same in South Africa, Kenya, everywhere we've just started. ohTV, obviously, and then we have a state government with a TV channel on there. We've got the works. I can continue on and on and on and on. Press TV, AIT, we've got a kids channel, and we've got Nollywood Movies TV. You know, you need that, otherwise you're not going anywhere. So we have growing partnerships, and we only see this as improving. And yes, we got one of the feedback we got was, why is it so African? Yeah, that's the design. That's why it's so African. And I think somebody got upset thinking it's all black or it's all this. It's not designed to be black, it's just designed to be African. Okay, so we take this and we bring it back to Africa. This is the trend I see. IPTV, if you're a channel, if you're a platform, IPTV is here to stay in Africa, whether you like it or not. And I know this because there are a few conversations we're having. There's improved fiber connectivity, ongoing 4G development. Ghana, they've opened up the 4G licenses. We have channels that play out on our platform, and what they have, I mean, I'll try not to do a lot of names, but some I have to do so you can verify. What they have is they've got a 2 meg internet link, and they have their media server in Nigeria, and across the 2 meg link, they play to the UK, and we take the feed, create the stream, and put it on our platform. It works very well. I was surprised because one of the problems in Africa in general is infrastructure, especially when it comes to IP. You can also have a channel. If you're a content producer and you're thinking of starting a channel, you can have a channel for less. I don't have any shares with Amos 5, but I know currently they have the best deals for satellite uplink. Apologies if I'm upsetting anybody. On Amos 5, and so even if you cannot get on DSTV, if you get on the Amos 5 satellite, talk to us. We'll pick your feed, we'll put you on the stream, and you'll be in the States and you'll be in the UK because we are moving set-top boxes hard. IP connectivity in Africa will only grow. There's a lot of talk going on in South Africa. There's a lot of talk in Kenya. There's a lot of talk in Ghana. And I think it will be foolhardy for channels or content producers not to take advantage of this because in the near future, we are going to have what you call an Africa-focused streaming CDN. There are CDNs in Africa that do data for corporates, but there will be streaming CDNs. And I say this because I talked to Akamai, Big Gravity, and some of the other big, well-renowned CDNs out there. None of them wants to come to Africa because they don't perceive it as great or good enough. And so it will take an African. Humbly, I'm going to put my neck on the chopping board, and we'll try and do this. But just look at the trend. Vimeo, YouTube, Iroko, Obox, iTunes, Afrinoli. I'm sure there's a DSTV mobile, Apple TV, Indani TV, Roku. It's all happening. We're going to do it. You know we always follow anyway. So we're going to do this. You're going to have this. So to telcos and ISPs, stop thinking that IPTV is an alternative. It is the future. Also, you have to start expanding your audience to outside Africa. I know there are license issues, but talk to us. We know how to sort that out. I coined something called D2D. It's called Direct to Diaspora. That's because we want the diaspora dollars. On ITV, it's content distribution to diaspora. You make a film, we know how to distribute it. You've got other content, we know how to put it on channels. TV works better mobile and integrated with our lifestyle. A lot of people don't work 9 to 5 like that. You know, people watch TV on the move now. We know this. It's the same way phones have come. Before, we used to be stuck at home using our phones, and we never believed we'll be able to walk around using phones. So it's going to happen, whether you like it or not. And then there are other exciting technologies that happen with IPTV and the set-top box that I won't talk about here. So there. This is my last slide, so I'm sure you're all relieved. The Dodo bird story. I put this up because the dodo bird was a very big bird, massive. There were a few other birds bigger than it. It was extinct 350 years ago, and the reason was it wouldn't fly. And did it have any predators? No, but they said it didn't have any predators till the humans showed up. I think we started eating dodo birds. Now, if dodo birds could fly, they'll be here today. Now, I say today to the big birds in the media world, platforms, channels, content providers, You got to learn to fly. If it takes drinking some Red Bull to think that way, you've got to learn to fly. Otherwise, it does not matter how big you are. You may not be here tomorrow. So collaborate. You are not too big to collaborate, because this is the challenge we face. We find out that big channels, platforms do not want to collaborate with up-and-coming ones. If the up-and-coming ones get together, they will become a bigger bird. So, this is my old box story. What I have enough, I brought an old box here. I brought two, but I'm going to give one away for the best question I get. These are my details, and to be honest with you, it's a collaboration of a willing. That's what we call what we do. Thank you very much.